Hey there everyone, Adrumus from Retro Carts and More. Last episode I broke down and reviewed the pile of shit known as Action 52. This episode I will be looking at yet another rare multi-cart game called CALTRON 6-in-1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Although there are only 6 different games as the title suggests, it is often compared to Action 52 for its shittiness. But is it really that bad? Well, let's take a look and find out. CALTRON 6-in-1 is a multi-cart released by CALTRON, a Taiwan-based video game company in 1992. The title of the game is actually called 6-in-1, but due to the large number of multi-carts of the same name released around that time, gamers refer to it as CALTRON to avoid confusion. Now, unlike Action 52, these games were released separately on the Japanese Famicom by NTDEC, often under the name Megasoft. Most of these games are clones of other popular NES games of the era, and not very good ones. Now, other than the very generic title screen, the overall graphics are actually pretty decent. Shit, if you compare the graphics to Action 52, it looks like freaking Contra. So how about the gameplay? Cosmo Cop is a pseudo 3D shooter that is a clone of the popular game Space Harrier for the Sega Master System. You move your ship in any two-dimensional direction while shooting ships and flying saucers. It's actually not that bad, but unfortunately there is a lot of image breakup during the gameplay due to the limitations of the hardware it was running on. And that's where this game really fails. Gotta give CALTRON credit for being ambitious though. Magic Carpet 1001 is the only game on this cart that is not a clone of another game. It is a Gradius-style horizontal shooter where you fly your magic carpet in the desert shooting enemies with a bow and arrow. There is a steep difficulty curve as the game gets ridiculously hard very quickly, and unlike Gradius, there are very few power-ups to help you. If it wasn't so difficult and a few bugs were ironed out, this game could be an underrated classic. Balloon Monster is a clone of the arcade classic Buster Brothers, and a horrible clone at that. Even if you have never played Buster Brothers before, you will get frustrated very quickly by the gameplay. You shoot bubbles that break off into 4 smaller pieces until they are gone, and you can only shoot upwards. The bubbles bounce lower as they get smaller. Buster Brothers actually utilizes the same form of gameplay, but where this game fails is the smaller bubbles get so damn low that they just roll towards you and you can't do shit about it because you can only shoot up. What a failure. You fix that one problem and this game might actually be playable, but as it stands, it's the worst of the bunch. Adam and Eve is a clone of Balloon Fight for the NES, which is also a clone of the classic game Joust. That's right, a clone of another clone. You navigate yourself above what looks like worm bait, and hit their balloon twice to kill them until you clear the screen. The gameplay stays true to Balloon Fight, and if the controls weren't so damn broken, this game might not be so bad. Porter is a clone of Thinking Rabbit's Sokuban and Boxel, 2 games that I am unfamiliar with, so I can't really make a comparison. You push boxes into squares marked X or star until the level is cleared. This game gets a lot of criticism for the awkward controls. First off, they have a self-destruct button in case you trap yourself, which is fine, but the programmers screwed up by putting it on the B button, which a lot of the times you press on accident. Also, you can only push blocks by holding A. Another game that is ruined by broken controls. Boogeyman is a clone of the old Williams arcade game Make Tracks. You're a beetle, I think, and you must cover the entire stage while avoiding enemies. Other than the stupid-ass title, I mean, Boogeyman, really? It's an okay game, and it stays true to the original. So while these games are not without flaws, most of them are actually pretty decent and playable and do not deserve to be compared to Action 52. If this cart was released in the late 1980s, we might have not shaked 2 shits about it, but it was released in 1992. The Super Nintendo had already been around for a couple of years, and the Genesis was nearly 4 years old. Gamers just expected better. Still though, Even the worst game from CALTRON is still 50 times better than any game from Action 52. Okay, so how rare is this game? Well, loose copies can cost around $300 on eBay or Amazon, with complete copies going for as much as $1,200. There is also another version of this game. And by version, I mean the exact same freaking game. Let me explain. When CALTRON Industries were going out of business, a company called Myriad from Kingwood, Texas, bought all of the remaining inventory of cartridges from CALTRON and slapped their own box and label. The label is as generic as it comes. Plain white, no art, with blue lettering. Edges of the old CALTRON label are still visible because the Myriad sticker was slightly smaller. I mean, come on, what moron was in charge of making an already shitty looking label? They couldn't even get the damn size right. They made no programming changes to the game, and the title screen still says CALTRON 6-in-1. These cartridges can fetch as much as $1,500 on eBay or Amazon. If you find this game with a box, be prepared to shell out over $4 grand for it. As a collector, I have zero intentions on ever paying that much money for this version, unless I get lucky and find it at a flea market or garage sale. So, while CALTRON 6-in-1 is definitely not the best out there, you could do a hell of a lot worse. Well, that about wraps things up. Age Rumus, Retro Carts and more. See ya!